have. Oh, you like even see a better show? Join me backstage. I want to know who I'm talking to. It's Augie T's guest list. What's up, Jay?
Okay.
Right.
Third episode, baby.
Okay.
Augie T's guest list. We're ready.
Okay, if you didn't know, Jason, longtime journalist, HPU, teaches lecturing
Shark
and all
life,
that
baby.
good stuff, right?
Shark life.
All right, so who we get today?
This week on the list, you may not know him, you may not recognize him, but you have taken advantage of his business before. Chad Buck. He's the founder of Hawaii Foodservice Alliance. They distribute the vast majority of the goods on this island. He's also co-executive producer of Kuleana, the TV show that airs right here on KITV and KIKU. Kimo, security's out there. Kimo, let him in.
Dude,
Chad
Chad
in.
looked like security.
Oh, wait, I thought,
I know.
that's not security, that's Chad.
I know, it's like,
What's up, man?
bigger than Kimo.
I know. Kimo, you fired. I'm gonna have to get Junior Boy over here next to Chad. Chad, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you, thank you.
So, Hawaii Foodservice Alliance. For people that don't understand that, real fast, explain what does that business do for the state of Hawaii?
So we're the largest distributor of highly perishable foods. We have operations on all islands. We're at the port as well. We have 550 people on staff, and we are in every grocer, club, retailer on every island every day. So we supply mostly highly perishables. Yep. We're the largest air freight handler in the state as well as far as produce coming into the state. So if you eat in Hawaii, you're a customer.
You've had your hands on that. Now we're going to talk about natural disasters and how to prepare for them. Before we get into that though, I've got to read something for you. May I do this first?
Way,
We don't get in trouble here. You want Chad to do it? You want to read something out for us?
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, he's like, no, I don't want to read off that card. So let's do this. All statements made on this TV show are personal opinions and are not official endorsements by the city and county of Honolulu. Okay. So now Augie, take your talk.
Now we're legal.
All right.
Right on.
Okay, so we'll talk natural disasters.
Absolutely.
What exactly will happen the next time a big natural disaster.
Hurricane Augie hits the state.
Right.
What happens?
Right.
What does it look like?
I think what's most important to know of what's not going to happen. If a Cat 2, 3, 4, 5 hits the state's not here to save you. Neither is the county. The state has no real meaningful supplies of food or water after a natural disaster. We don't have stockpiles of food. We don't have stockpiles of medicine, et cetera. And so people that think somehow that if a natural disaster is going to hit, a hurricane or a tsunami, that somehow someone's going to show up your doorstep and say, hey, we got some food for you and your family. We're not going to have any electricity or power for the next couple weeks, but here's some food. That's not going to happen.
The cavalry isn't coming.
The cavalry's, no one's coming. And I think that's the most important thing for the public to know.
Yeah, we're not trying to scare anybody.
Right.
This, again, how do we help people understand preparedness, right?
Right.
And because it is sobering when you hear that.
Yep.
We've been lucky.
Yeah.
Think about, what.
Just in recent years, there's that one near miss that we have.
Been very lucky.
Do Oahu residents, does any island have it better than any other island? Is any one island more prepared than any of the others at this point?
As far as a statewide program, no. But if I were to guess as far as which islands have the best preparedness so far, it would be the Hawaii island, who typically catches the brunt of a hurricane that comes through, and Kauai because they've been through Iwa and Iniki.
Remember.
So when you've been through that, when you have the memories of that and what you were trying to do and protect your family, that never leaves you. And so those two islands do, but Oahu hasn't been hit in a very, very long time, Maui, et cetera. And so just typically Big Island and Kauai are the more prepared islands.
Well, that's what we got to get into, right? We're talking about disaster preparedness. We're here with Chad Buck. He's the founder of Hawaii Foodservice Alliance. We're going to get more into natural disasters and how you can prepare for them. That's coming up after this break right here on Augie T's guest list. Stick around.
Welcome back to the guest list. We're bringing a lot of awareness. I'm hoping you're taking notes. Jason, Chad Buck, I'm Augie. Your question.
So here we go. We just spent a few minutes talking about what might happen, right? So now, what should we be doing to get ready for the next natural disaster?
And that's the most important question, because I think just the awareness of people knowing that they need to be individually prepared as a family for their family to protect their own. But one of the most exciting things that's happened in the last 6 months is with the new administration that came on board. We were working with then Lieutenant Governor Green through COVID, and actually prior to COVID, and meeting with HIEMA, FEMA, Department of Emergency Management, Civil Defense, et cetera. Our push was, as private industry, there's no other entity in the state that end-to-end is more capable of making sure that Hawaii is fed, because we feed Hawaii day in and day out, 365 days a year. Nobody at the state level, nobody at the county level does that. And so when we were reaching and working with Lieutenant Governor, now that Governor Green is in office, he made a mandate and asked us to start working together, bring private and public and some NGOs and others to work together to align our resources and our capabilities. And so we've started working with them. James Barros is the new HIEMA head. Okay. And so he's coming in with a whole new passion for private-public government relationships and to align together. And so that's the first time that this has happened, believe it or not, in the state's history.
The state doesn't have stockpiles of
Correct.
food. They had to turn to private companies to
Correct.
go out and fill in the gap. Is that another solution? Do we need to start creating space and stockpiling things on a public scale so that we have, food?
I'm a big supporter of that, and I think that needs to happen. One of the things that we stood up probably about 18 months ago, as we were working with HIEMA and FEMA and so on, because there are none, and because Hawaii has so many communities that are geographically predisposed to being cut off after a natural disaster. So if you take a look at Waianae, you got one road in, one road out. That road leads right alongside the highway. And so that community, plus it's food insecure, so you have a lot of people in need, keiki, kapuna, et cetera. And so if that community gets cut off, there's a real need to make sure that they have some food and food in place. And so we stood up on our own. The first pre-covery pod is what we're calling it. We're calling it pre-covery because we're actually trying to get ahead of the game. And so that's a container that's filled with 200,000 meal packets. Wow. It's sitting there, kind of a break glass in case of emergency. It's only opened after a natural disaster, and that's to help that community last until resupply comes. Because our big concern is, you can imagine, if there's no electricity, no water, no food, no message coming from government because nobody has an effective plan on the books right now, what are those families going to act like if there's no cavalry coming, they're out of food, their kids aren't eating, the kapuna aren't eating? The behavior changes dramatically,
We're seeing in challenging times, out of desperation, people doing really bad stuff. Can you imagine?
Absolutely.
You get cut off from everything.
Yeah.
We back in the wild, wild west. That's why it's so important. Like, I don't know if you saw last week's conversation about how at one time Waianae had 20 farms. Period. You know what I mean? Like, these are things that we should be thinking about, because
100%,
in challenging times, we need to really look at our resources, right? And go, how do we utilize all these things? And go take private and public, not go take government. Going to take private and public.
It's going to take all of us.
Yes.
I agree 100%.
Do you see Governor Green, or maybe at the local, the county level, do you see more money being budgeted for disaster preparedness? Are we going to get any, budget help?
What I think is the most important thing right now is actually getting the people that do it. I compare this to the state trying to handle COVID without the hospitals and the doctors. How dumb is that, right?
Yeah.
And so for the state to go, hey, if something happens, maybe, just maybe, we should partner with the people that feed Hawaii.
Yeah.
The people that have the trucks, the staff, the food supplies, the ability to resupply. So this is a no-brainer at no cost. It's kind of like that first step, right? And combining our efforts together. You had mentioned the government spending. You hear so many times about county or state budgets and they get spent and it's wasted or whatever. If you're dealing with the business community, if you're a business person here and still standing in Hawaii, you couldn't screw up, right?
Right.
You can't go out of budget. You're going to be out of business, and so you've got a highly competent business groups as far as those that feed Hawaii, and the distributors, the grocers, the clubs, and the retailers. And so combining our efforts with the people that actually do it is just, in my mind, a great idea.
Man, that's awesome. Coming back, guys, on the guest list, we got the out of box. Well, what is it?
We got the out of the box question coming up as well. Yeah. But before we get to the out of the box question, we got to talk a little bit more about distribution. We've talked a lot about disaster preparedness, but we're going to take a little bit of time and talk about just general distribution since we have the founder of Hawaii Foodservice Alliance here with us, Chad Buck. We'll get more into that after this on Augie T's guest list.
Welcome back to the guest list, Jason, Chad Buck, and it's a good question right here. Because last week we had Alex Soon, right?
Last week we had Alex Sue. We were talking about agriculture. We were talking about locally grown food and how to help be sustainable here in the state of Hawaii. Now we're talking with you, Chad Buck, founder of Hawaii Foodservice Alliance, largest distributor here in the state of Hawaii. How do we improve that relationship with the local producers, the local farmers who have local products? How do we improve that relationship with you, the distributor, to make it more efficient, to make it a more successful, relationship for everybody involved?
Right. That's a great question. And several years ago, we started really focusing because when we first started out, we were kind of the king of all things elsewhere. And so importing, whether it's through Matson, Pasha, and air freight coming into the state, and taking a look and then seeing especially what happened in COVID with the supply chains breaking across the mainland, with empty shelves across Hawaii. And so we stepped up heavily in this sector and stood up our platform so any local manufacturer, farmer, producer can ride our platform across the state. And that means too that if you're on Maui and you're a farm but you need to get your product across the state, we're that platform to move that because we're on all islands. And so right now today we've got over 40 local manufacturers that ride our platform into market. That allows a manufacturer on any island or a producer on any island to have their products statewide pretty close to overnight because we're on every Young Brother sailing, we're on every sailing between the islands, we fly between the islands as well.
So you're pretty confident if we use all our resources and we get our stuff together,
right?
In case some natural disaster happens, we can be ready. More than just ready, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, again, the beauty of this is I am a huge believer that Hawaii's solution going forward is that all of us, private industry, government, NGOs, philanthropic, et cetera, we're not going to be the Hawaii that we need to be 10 years ago unless we all work together now. And that crosses all kinds of problems across the state. So our belief at HFA is if there's a problem in the community, we're also responsible for that. We're accountable to the communities that we serve.
And that sounds great, and I applaud it. Just to me, I've heard that before. If we can all just get along, get on the same page, get on board, we can succeed. Well, why haven't we done that yet?
I think we're on the way to do that. And I should also say, probably the biggest mistake someone can make in this state, in my opinion, is thinking that the government's going to save them.
That's right.
I think you need to take this into our own hands. Even the problems that we have as far as our employment goes.
Right.
We have staff members. We invest in their training. We invest in their leadership skills. We put them through our own trainings. They're paid to take the training. They're paid, and we've got over 120 people in our training programs now, and they get paid to do it. Because we know that church, synagogue, temple might have you for an hour or two a week. We've got you for 40 at least. So this should be a meaningful place to work. This should be a place where you can grow, where you can expand your career, where you can become the best version of yourself. And we'd like to take this and pass this out.
How big is the
to other
company?
groups.
How many employees are in the company?
550 right now.
And see, I think that's what makes shows like this so important. So in my last couple of years being in government, we don't educate the public enough. We don't let people know the real importance of what we do, right?
Sure.
Right.
Like you're saying, I'm here to help support. I want to make it easy so businesses like Chad's can thrive, but not only thrive, but like really help educate our residents, right? Of the importance of what they're doing.
We've got first-time home buyers classes for our staff because you didn't learn that at high school here, right? And so how do we fill that gap? You talk about having trouble trying to staff people with the labor issues, et cetera. if you're taking care of your people, if you're a place where people want to come to work and have meaningful employment and meaningful relationships and can grow their own careers, the challenge decreases quite a bit because people actually want to come and work at a place like that.
And knowing
Yeah.
that you're part of a institution that's not only taking care of you, but really, honestly, taking care of people. And that's what it's all about, right?
100%.
It comes back to what you were just saying. It sounds like the company culture at Hawaii Foodservice Alliance is not relying on the employer, relying on somebody else. You're empowering your employees to
100%.
go and do something for themselves.
100%. We have a first generation leaders program. These are people that never thought. Our head of distribution had a GED. His mother pushed him out of the car at 4:30 in the morning where I was standing and said, please do something with him. And he's in charge of all our distribution, our head of
Look,
operations, same story.
I believe the best example is leading by example.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, you know, people want to follow good leaders. People want to believe that that person is not only like, you know, taking care of their family, but like really understanding the interests of you. And then when you get that, man, when you're excited to come to work, you know, we have had some
Motivates
pretty
everybody
cool
around
interviews,
you.
right, this last couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
When you're excited about doing something you love doing, it's not work.
Yep.
Right.
Right? If you know that a company is investing in you for a better tomorrow, and you know you're there because, man, if something come up, I'm going to be right there handing out food or helping people get the food they need out in Waianae.
A great example of that is during COVID, we were the lead distributor for the state, for the Aloha Stadium distributions and so on. We were feeding 4,000 families a day in that. We are combining our efforts with Department of Emergency Management, the police, county, et cetera, and other distributors in the area. We were also bringing in local beef from all the other islands. But we were running 1 to 2 distributions a week. This is COVID, so we are wide open, grocery stores, all the restaurants shut, so our business is crazy to begin with. And we staffed that. All of our people showed up, and they were just proud to be there serving our communities because we were the only ones able to do that at that time in that way. And so it was great to work with the Ciscos and the Hatas and the county, and everybody kind of came together. So the message that we learned there is in COVID, you can make hard decisions, and everybody needs to work together. And I think we forgot that recently.
And maybe when paint one good picture for a lot of people to see that there's hope in challenges.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Chad Buck, founder, Hawaii Foodservice Alliance. We're going to wrap up our conversation after the break. We're going to the box.
You mean draw?
It doesn't sound as good when you say out of the drawer question. We got one more important question for Chad Buck. It's coming up next on Augie T's guest list. Stick around. Alrighty, welcome back. It's Augie T's guest list, and we're ready for that hard-hitting out of the box question.
Yeah, one day we'll have the box.
Chad Buck, Hawaii Foodservice Alliance. We got 3. Go for it, Doug.
Spekuliana. I'm just joking. 3 things Hawaii people can do right now to get ready for the next natural disaster.
I think the most important thing you can do for your family is to take the time, go to the store, take an inventory of what you have at the home, and then go to the store and pick up the food you need for 2, 3, 4 weeks if you can, supply of just canned goods, long shelf life stuff that after hurricane season you can kind of run through that product. Make sure you got enough bottled water to take care of your family's needs for that, and really stockpile your home, because the key is, we're hoping to stand up as we're all starting to work together for the first time, bringing private industry into state and government and county activities. But we can't even with that, we can't save everybody. So the fewer people that need those resources, the better it is for those that aren't able to take that or don't have the wherewithal to buy those supplies. So just being prepared and having that, taking responsibility for yourself and for your loved ones is the most important thing.
So
you
number
can do.
1, do the planning.
Do the planning.
Number 2, actually take action, get out there and stockpile.
Yeah.
And then one more. What is one more thing that people can do right now? And it doesn't have to be
I have
individuals.
a Mormon friend. All my Mormon friends, they're ready.
Oh, they're ready.
Yeah.
I have a Filipino mother-in-law.
Go find a Mormon
she's
friend. I'm
ready
telling you.
too.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. No, I think it's so important to have the ability and just feel like you know that you're accountable, you're responsible to take care of your family as a father.
Yep.
you know, you just, and as mom and dad, you know you need to take care of the kids and take care of grandma and grandpa. And doing that is just so important to make sure that you're going to be okay. Because it may be weeks before you can resupply, so be prepared.
And it's something easy you can do. Every time you go grocery shopping, just get something that you know they're going to help your family. That's what we do.
Put it aside.
It's just, I shouldn't have said that. Everybody gonna come to my house now. But you know, it's there. I'm prepared.
Yeah.
Because it's not sometimes we can look crazy that you're doing that, but like again, the operative word is being prepared.
And
right?
like so many things in life, just do the research, do your preparation, do your legwork, and you'll be ready when it comes time to execute.
Yeah. And, you know, if you really want to kind of compress everything in, go to KITV's website, take a look at Kuleana, preparing for disaster. We know it's coming. We've got climate change going on. We know we're dealing with sea rise now, more extreme weather. So if you want to just get a crash course on that, go to KITV's website and watch Preparing for Disaster.
Chad, thank you, man.
He would know.
You.
Chad Buck, co-executive producer of Kuleana, also the founder of Hawaii Foodservice Alliance. Appreciate you taking the time, sir. That's going to do it for Augie T's guest list.
Who's in there? Is The Rock?
Did we finally get him?
I don't know. I have no idea.
We're going to have to check the list, but go online, KITV.com/Augie T's guest list. You can find out more details about the show there. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Aloha.